Slater Crusaders, America's the greatest country in the world. How are you? Glad you're here. I want to be more clear about a point that I touched on yesterday, but I think it's the most important thing to know right now, and I just want to be as clear as possible about it. Again, with all the humility of, we don't know for sure. No one knows anything for sure. But that's sort of the point. What's the end game of this? When does this end? So have we thought? I think we're so consumed with the moment, and rightfully so, because it's a lot. But have we given any thought to what's our exit strategy with this? So Gavin Newsom, our governor of California, he said schools are going to be closed probably until the fall. And I remember our local school board, I live in San Diego, our local school board said on Friday, last Friday, they said, we fully anticipate to be back open in 2 weeks. And I said, you guys are out of your minds. I was doing the radio show at the time. We took the press conference live. I said, you guys are crazy. And I'm very careful. I don't want to ever give any definitely here, definitely that, because no one knows, right? But that was the one time I think so far I've said, no, schools are definitely not going to go back in session in 2 weeks. You guys have no idea what's coming here. I had a bunch of speeches booked this week and the next couple weeks, and they all canceled, obviously. And they all wrote me back, and they're like, well, how about April? How about April 27th or whatever? And I said, yeah, I'm available April 27th, but you're not going to be having this event in April. So sign me up, but no one's going to be there. I should have, because I don't think people have the proper time frame for how long this is going to be a new normal. And we talked a bit about this yesterday, about how we have boxes that we understand, and we're trying to put this thing that has never happened before in our lives, certainly, into these boxes. And I'm putting this into the blizzard box. Remember we talked about that yesterday? I understand blizzards, so this is like a blizzard. We batten down the hatches for 2 days, reemerge stronger than ever afterwards, and go sledding. There's no box for this. We have to start making a new box. And we got to get in the time frame of months. This is not a weekend thing. This is not a week-long thing. I don't even think it's a many weeks long thing. I think it's a months-long thing. We have to think in terms of months. Now, here's why, before you think I'm fear-mongering here, because I'm very careful. We've never peddled in that. And I'm certainly not going to begin. Why do I think this? So first of all, why would it end? So about 2 days ago or so, the president gave a press conference and he talked about 15 days. This number 15 days was thrown out. So what's in 15 days? What's going to be different in 15 days? I mean that genuinely. I'm curious. What would be different is the virus going to be tired in 15 days? Is it going to stop? I don't want to do this anymore. What's going to happen in 15 days? Oh, it's going to die out? I've heard people say it's going to die out. What do you mean it's going to die out? That's not how it works. We don't have a vaccine. So as soon as the quarantining is over, people will just go back to their lives as normal. It's just going to come right back. Why wouldn't it? Even if you want to hope that it goes away in the summer, and there's no reason to think that that's the case. Some coronaviruses do. Remember, coronavirus is a family of viruses, lots of different coronaviruses. Some coronaviruses do go away in the summer, or not even go away. They have seasonality to it. Some don't. But even then, summer's just a few months, and then it's winter. And then what are we going to do then? Without a vaccine. That's the giant disclaimer of this whole thing. Without a vaccine, we'll talk about that in a minute. So we've all seen the flatten the curve graphs, right? Got to flatten the curve. Oh, I saw a funny video. We've played these videos of in Italy, everyone's in quarantine, so everyone's gone out and they've had balcony parties, right? People are going out and they're singing to each other. What a balcony party. I saw a video yesterday of people in Brooklyn walking around, and everyone on the windows goes, hey, get the blank back in your house. Get out of here. Get out, you blanket, blank. That's good. That's pretty new. Someone goes, flatten the blanket curve. So everyone understands flattening the curve. Right? We get the concept of it, but the graphs, we talked about this yesterday, the graphs have no numbers on them. So we put numbers on that graph on yesterday's show. We talked about the y-axis, right? Actually, let's put it up right now. Do we have the graph, guys? This is from the Imperial College of London, the COVID response team. This is their big analysis. This is what England is basing their analysis off of, or their actions off of this study right here, and a lot here in America as well. So they put numbers on the flatten the curve graph. Let me pull it up here. Okay, so you see on the vertical axis, that's critical care beds occupied per 100,000% per 100,000 of the population. So the big giant bell curve you see right there, that's if we do nothing. That's if we don't do any mitigation efforts, any quarantining at all. And then just below that, that's if we close schools. And then the orange line below that is if just certain people are isolated. The kind of yellow line below that is if we have larger quarantine efforts. And then the blue line is if we have game on, like total quarantining, which is more or less what we're trying to do here. So you can see the curve is indeed flattening. But remember the punchline yesterday that we talked about is, see the red line? Is that red line? I remember when I first saw that, I said, red line, what red line? Where's the red line? Oh, you mean that tiny, that line way down at the bottom? Yeah, that represents the surge that anything above that is overwhelming our healthcare system. This is in England, but same thing here in America. Anything above that red line is overwhelming of the healthcare system. Anything. So even the blue line, huge difference between doing nothing and doing a lot, right? Huge difference between the black and the blue, but still way over the line. Every flatten the curve graph you see, it creates this perception that, oh, if we do this quarantining, then we'll get under that line. No, you're not getting under that line. Nothing you can do can get under the line. You can get closer to the line, but you're not getting under the line, according to these models here. So we talked, yesterday we did all that. We talked about the y-axis, the vertical axis. Let's talk about the x-axis now. Sorry, guys, can you throw that back up one more time? So this is the x-axis, the horizontal axis. Time. They put time on here. The blue shaded area, that's 3 months. 3 months. Has anyone talked about 3 months of these efforts? So this puts you until July, August or so. July, right? July 20th specifically, so July, August, right? So we're talking like 3 to 4 months. Are you thinking in terms of months? Have you been? Have you been thinking in terms of months? Now, the Imperial College Group, they make a good point. They say if a country, this is why it's tricky, and we'll never be able to get a full grasp on this. They say if a country does too much quarantining, or too early effort, or for not long enough time, then not enough people will get it, and then get healthy, and then get immunity. Let me put it in their words. The interventions need to remain in place for as much as the epidemic period as possible. Introducing such interventions, quarantine stuff, too early risks allowing transmission to return once they are lifted. Slater Crusaders, thanks for watching the first on YouTube. If you want more, like, subscribe. We got plenty.